Thank you too. I see another chat on. Let me see.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So please, my name is Charles Bodu, and I'm a level 400 biomedical science student in the University of Cape Coast, Ghana.
Okay. Then Prince.
So my name is Prince Adoma, and I'm a national service personnel at the Sena Institute of Technology, and also an aspiring researcher.
All right. So maybe with that said, I think I'm not able to see the rest of the team because I'm sharing my screen. So one or two more people can introduce themselves, and then we can go straight to the meat of the meeting. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah.
Please, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so my name is Bako Imano. I'm a postgraduate student at University for Development Studies, second year. I also work with Savannah Agricultural Research Institute, SARI, in the northern part of Ghana, precisely Tamale. That's where we are based. My background is in food science, and then also a lab technician in the Institute Food and Analytical Laboratory. So thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm so much grateful. Thank you.
All right. So I think with that said, we will go straight to the meeting. All right. So today is the first meeting for the Genetic Society for West Africa. And you can see the logo, which is the map of West Africa. And then in it, you can there's the human, a mammal, trees, insects, and fishes. We will assume that there may be birds and then some amphibians all trapped in this structure. So that's the Genetic Society for West Africa. This is our first meeting. It is something that is just beginning, so there are a lot of opportunities for change and also making modifications. So if you have some recommendations, suggestions, feel free to share it so that we make the society a big one or very eventful. Okay. So why the Genetic Society for West Africa? Globally, there are several genetic societies. Some are maybe the easiest to say is that most countries have their own genetic societies, but then there are other genetic societies that are formed by regions. So, for instance, Australia and Asia has their own genetic society. There is one for Brazil, China, Germany, France. The entire Latin America has their own genetic society. South Africa is the only African country that has a genetic society. Israel, US, UK, and then there's an International Genetics Federation. So there are so many international organizations that are set up across the world globally, and they all meet, connect, and discuss innovations in genetics. Unfortunately for Africa, we do not have we do not have a strong representation in these organizations. So our mission is to set up one for West Africa. At the country level, as most of you are aware, it's difficult to have an organization purely for Ghana, purely for Nigeria. The logistics are just insane for each country. But if we put our resources together, we should be able to set up one that is for a particular region, in this case, West Africa. And then we can hope that we will become the pilot to organize the Southern African group, the Eastern African group, Central Africa, and probably the whole African Union could have its own genetic society. But this is the first step towards such a mission. So with the help of Prince, who just introduced himself, we have been working on developing the Genetic Society for West Africa. So the website is agswa.org. And then if you go on the site, you will learn more about activities. So it's going to, on the site, you see events, things that are happening across the globe, and things that will happen on the African continent. If you have events, you want us to share it, you email Prince, and then it will be updated on the event page. Again, this is a draft. There are a lot of things that has to be done post our meeting. And also, a lot of times when you are thinking about genetics, people think, oh, Africa, there's not so much happening. So we've started compiling a list of publications that are being initiated by Africans or West Africans, and we list them here. So if you have a publication or a colleague has published, let us know. We will share it here, and then we will also start tweeting and promoting the science that is being done in West Africa, at least on the African continent or on the western part, to highlight some of the innovations that are being done, and that will be shared on the publication list. The final section is resources. So we want to make resources readily available on the continent. For instance, if you look at the genetics, maybe sequencing, we could have a resource across West Africa where everyone will know where a sequencing machine is. They can go and use it, or microscopes, different aspects of science we can show it there. The final section, which is yet to be done, is a section about the Genetic Society of West Africa. That will include who are the founding members, their mission. We will discuss all that when we get the core team or a team of people together and we build the society. So, what are the key missions of the community? So, at the community, the mission is that we are going to put together a community of geneticists, and we can share ideas about genetics, make decisions, policies, help our government and private agencies to make informed decisions about discoveries in genetics and what can be done to assist. Come again? There is a feedback from. Okay, yeah, you're muted. At the educational level, we want to share funding opportunities, materials, technologies, things that will improve genetic research on the continent. So the idea is, can we find opportunities for undergraduate students, graduate students, research fellows, for short-term internships, for graduate school opportunities? We can discuss all those things, as well as among ourselves, how can we share ideas and technology so that we can have a strong presence on the at least on the African continent or globally. And then the final piece is organizing seminars and workshops. So I'll discuss more about these seminars, but the idea is that we can have a rotating event where we will sponsor conferences or workshops in multiple countries, and all of us can visit and then share ideas about genetics or the science of doing genetics. Okay. So what is the purpose of the meeting? One is having a strong collaboration among the West African geneticists. Two, advocation and then education of especially our government. Sometimes they are not familiar with a lot of the research that is going on in genetics, and being able to provide that environment and to share and discuss. So healthcare, GMO is a big issue on the continent. How can we let people explain these concepts to people so that people clearly understands the problems and the challenges? Again, for most genetic societies, there is usually a genetic award. And genetic award is to look at a key problem on the continent, or especially in West Africa. And we can set an award or a competition where a scientist that is able to break or solve that problem is recognized for a lifetime achievement for such a project. So this is a task that will need like a committee, a group of people that come together and look across the West African sub-region and identify people who have done things that are remarkable, and we can keep it up. I've already talked about the student placements, sabbaticals, exchange program, and our first event that is looking likely to happen in 2 months is an African Europe Genetic Society seminar, and I will discuss that a few slides from now. So, when we take West Africa, here are about 16 countries that make up West Africa, and this is the initial step. Currently, we have representations from Nigeria and Ghana, and our hope is that it will spread across the entire continent and the entire sub-region. Okay. We have 57 scientists, students, researchers who have signed up to be members of the association. And we have 2 that are outside West Africa, Mauritius and South Africa. But that's fine. On the disciplines, biochemistry, applied biology, biotechnology, genetics, health sciences, molecular biology, these are all being represented in the association. So far, about 17 or 20% of people who have registered are graduate students, 60% are undergrad, and approximately 15% are faculty. And when we ask about people's research interests, these are valuable information for us to decide the kind of workshops, training, exchange programs. This is going to make it easier for us to decide how to interact with each one of us. Hello. So, Adele Ben, can you mute? We could hear you. So, on the research aspect, these are various topics that have been addressed. So, the first thing is, as a group, we are going to put together a working document that will connect all of us together. And one activity will be a monthly series meetings like today, where we can share ideas about what we hope for the organization. And I will encourage everyone to invite more colleagues and then share ideas about what we can do to improve the society. The second thing is we've already started a partnership with Europe, where we can have an Africa-Europe genetics seminar. And the concept is that when we have a speaker from Europe, a speaker from Africa will be a moderator, and vice versa. And if you have a speaker from Africa, an European moderator will be on. And that will integrate the African Society for Genetics with the European societies. So look, let's all look forward to this. Hopefully, in June we should be able to start this kind of collaboration. And that means that each one of us can volunteer to be a speaker or a moderator. So if you are interested, again, send an email to Prince or to myself, but Prince is coordinating all these activities. So send him an email and he can help put you on the schedule as to how we plan to do to organize the meetings. Again, these are tentative dates. We will try and talk to we will get a sense from the European partners and see how best we can work together on this series. So far, the work we've done so far has been through Prince and myself. There are a lot of vacancies, a lot of positions that we would like to people to self-nominate. So if you are interested in any of these positions, there's the vice president role, the treasurer, the secretary, science communicator, science policy coordinator. And as I said, these are all drafts. So if there are areas, something that we have not considered, which will be vital for running the organization, you can suggest the role, you can nominate yourself, and between now and our next meeting, we should be able to put together the team, start a draft of our bylaws, how we are going to interact and do everything, and have a working document ready for our May meeting. So if you are interested, this is a great opportunity, and it's open to everyone from an undergrad all the way to faculty. And the reason is genetics has reached a point where we should all work together. So don't assume that it's always for the senior faculty, but we would like everyone to be highly involved. So, we also hope to eventually have other committees that can take different aspects of the organization so that we can grow successfully together. These are our information. You can send an email to the GSWA.genetics@gmail. We are on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and that's our phone. So with that, I will stop here and then look forward to questions and answers and a heady discussion about the society. So any comment, questions, ideas, how to move forward, please. You can chat, you can put your comment in the chat, or just unmute and ask your question.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Please, my name is Joshua Koku, and I'm very glad for setting up this whole society. And one thing that I would like to put across is if we can have representatives from various regions so that communication will be effective. For instance, let's say if you
Please, Dr. Andrews, please, you are muted. Check it.
Yes, hello. We've lost the speaker.
Joshua Poku.
Yes.
Joshua Poku, we can't hear you. I think his network is off. Yes.
All right. So I think I get a gist of what he's recommending. So it is a great idea that every region, or at least every country, should have its own representative. So that would be something that we need to think about. So for instance, we can have a representative from Nigeria, from Ivory Coast, from Senegal, as part of the executive board. And as I said, we are hoping to put up a draft of the bylaws, so that can be highlighted in the bylaws. Any other comments?
I think Joshua is on now. Joshua, can you please take your question? No, Professor.
I see Prof has raised his hands.
Yeah, hello everyone.
Hello.
Hello,
Prof.
sir. Yeah, okay. I just want to commend our president for the great initiative. I'm so excited, and I know everyone is excited seeing what is happening. And I'm sure by the grace of God, God will use this platform to resolve many challenges facing us from West Africa, Africa at all, and the whole globe. I just want to commend, and I'm okay with everything that has been presented by the president. Thank you very much, sir, for the great initiative.
Thank you. That's great. And I also hope that we can have you as one of our board members, so we can work together to make this organization bigger. And
thank you, my president.
On the continent, yes.
Thank you, my president. I agree with you, sir.
All right, that would be nice.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Andrews, please, can I talk?
Yes, please do.
Okay, I want to ask a question. Like when I was introducing myself, I made mention of the fact that my background is in food science, and I know that perhaps there will be more people who will come on board to join this association or organization. Perhaps maybe their background might not be into this genetics or molecular studies. What other opportunities could be available for some of us from these areas that is not directly linked to genetics in a way?
Okay. So with the Genetic Society, a lot of things are tied to genetics. But I'll give you an example. Let's take, for instance, food science. I'll give you a typical example. About maybe 6 years ago, okay,
yes,
Europe had a problem, and the problem was that people were selling beef sausage, right?
Okay.
And in that beef sausage, they realized that the meat was not fully 100% beef, but people were using horse meat and mixing it with the beef meat and were selling. So what was the best way to evaluate that? Was to use to take samples and look at do you find the DNA of beef of a horse in the sausage?
Okay. Yeah.
So there are some applications that may go directly in that zone, but not solely or purely into the, I would say, the looking at the nutrient content, evaluating those things, not necessarily, but at least at the molecular level, there are certain things that will be useful to you as a food scientist. But And as we collect that information, as I presented earlier on, if we realize that there are a lot of people in the nutrition food science, we will bring speakers or we will organize events that will address some of these challenges. One project we do at the Central Institute of Technology is we have been documenting fishes across the Ghana, and we collect their DNA, we sequence it, and we use it to do a DNA barcoding. And now, if you take a fish and with that database we are building, we should be able to tell what kind of fish you have you are eating.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure.
Okay. Okay, so Doc, someone is asking in person of Agnes Etua, that please, how can we aspire for the positions? And on what topic would we be having the presentations? So I think you can touch on that here.
All right. So let me start with the how do you aspire to be a member of the organization? So the simplest is I've shared some positions, and Prince is going to email the group, everyone on today, about the various positions. So all you need is to send your resume and say, I self-nominate myself. Okay, I've nominated myself. Then in the next meeting, when we come together, if there's no other contender, you are, and we take your resume, we will share the resume with the rest of the team. If everybody is happy on it, you are on. If also we review it and we look at your resume, we think this is a good person to start with, we can immediately start working with you as the substantive person for that role. In terms of seminars, there are so many disciplines within genetics. Some people are purely microbiologists, others are into public health. There are so many aspects of it. So depending on what the speaker wants to present, and we know the list of the participants and their interest, we can say, okay, we see a lot of people who are interested in microbiology. So if we get about 5 speaker recommendations, we will pick the one that will be on microbiology and say, okay, let's start with microbiology. Come and give the talk. Then another person can come up and say, I'm interested in, let's say, plant genetics, making, gene editing in plants. That person comes in and gives the talk. So depending on your own expertise, you volunteer your time, and then we will find a date that will be suitable for you and suitable for members, and then the meeting can take place. And I can add that 2 years ago, we started the African Seminar Series. We did that for an entire year, and we scheduled everyone in advance. So we knew in 2 months who is going to be the next speaker, and then he or she is prepared. So it was easier for us to move. So don't think that you'll be like sporadic. Things will be far in advance. At every meeting, the next speaker will be announced, the next moderator will be announced, and we keep going that way. So it gives you at least a whole month to prepare and for you to tell us your topic and what you'll be discussing. Good?
Yes, that's good. And she's also asking, and please, since the presentations will be done by each country, how would we know and mobilize our members to prepare the presentation slides? Same Agnes Etua.
Yes. So, as I said, the preparation will be a month in advance. And once we identify the speaker and everything, Prince is going to email the entire group. So we will know who will be the first speaker, who is the moderator, what institution the person is coming from, which region, everything will be on the email. Secondly, if you have workshops, for instance, in this September, we have a DNA barcoding workshop, which we are hosting here in Ghana. If there's going to be another, for instance, a similar DNA barcoding workshop in Nigeria, everything is going to be on either on the website or on the newsletter. So if you are a member of the organization, you get it, and then you know far in advance when an event is going to happen, and you can prepare for it. Based on her question, I'll give you another example. On the website, we've already listed that there's going to be an international genetic congress in Australia, and it's going to be on in July. We've already been publicizing about it and talking about it, and it's going to happen. Again, it's one event that is bringing all the genetic societies across the world together in one place, and it's going to be in Australia. So these are all things that you will be notified far in advance. And in future meetings, we can send a delegation to go for that activity or for the meeting.
Please, I want to ask a question. With regards to be a membership, are we going to get something that you can base on to prove? Because I cannot just go out and tell someone that, oh, I'm a member of Genetic Society of West Africa just by saying it. Maybe you need a proof, something to prove that you are a member of it. So I don't know whether there will be some sort of anything that you can really use it to prove that yes, you're a member of this particular society, other than just saying it.
Yeah. So as I said, we are working on the bylaws. Okay. So when we put the bylaw, it's going to address some of these things. But in most genetics of most societies, there's always a monthly, an annual subscription. Every year you subscribe to be a member. In our case, it's free, but you have to literally, once you sign up for it today, on the anniversary of your day, we should be able to send you an email and say, look, if you still want to be a member, subscribe. That kind of active involvement means that we can attest that you're a member. Okay. If you're a member and for some reason you need, let's say, a letter to verify your membership or your activity, it can be tracked back to the organization. So as we put together the bylaws, as I said, a lot of things are draft. We will modify them as we go. Okay. Okay. All right. So if there are no more questions, well, my suggestion is if you just send us an email, a text, we will immediately start putting together the team. That is going to get the main goal for this month is get the core people together. We will draft on our website who are the founding members, and each person have a unique activity or role. And then we will put together the bylaws. Again, you have questions, just send an email to us. You have our email, and we will incorporate them all in the planning so that the organization works as expected. The other thing too is that think of it that you don't want to become a passive member, but an active member. So if you're organizing programs, for instance, the Europe African Meeting Seminar Series, if you want to participate and be a part of the organizing team, it's an opportunity. You join us. We continue to put together the program, and we are all in different countries or different regions, but we can work together. Someone asked if how are they aware that their submission has been accepted? So once you send it, you do a follow-up. We will call you, email you, and then you have a meeting. So don't think it is a one-time decision. And eventually, we will be able to meet as a team and discuss it. Yeah, so someone is talking about from the senior high school level, can we include them in our meetings? So, as I said, this Genetic Society, we can even go to junior high school, depend on the kind of programs we are organizing. So, for instance, the science education, we can create a science education week across the entire West Africa. That week, every West African member will organize something that will target high school students and get them to adopt science. We can mobilize kids. For instance, we can mobilize kids to say, let's go to about 20 high schools in across West Africa and train high school students on how to extract DNA or how to do some gene editing or probably microbiology. A very simple experiment, but we mobilize the kids. Every host institution gets the same kit, and we spread it across. So we could support high school students, but as full members, we can. It depends on how we decide on that. It could be a junior group within the Genetic Society of West Africa. That is possible. But I think for now, it's better to have from university upwards and organize programs that we go to the community, to the high schools, and we support them. Yusha, does that help? Okay. Any other questions or Prof? Any comments?
No, sir.
Okay. All right. Then I guess this is the end of today's meeting. All the questions and comments you gave, we will put them to. We will incorporate them in our next agenda, and also when we are drafting the bylaws, so that we have a clearly defined role for everyone, what we will need to do, and then the kind of workshops and seminars we want to organize. We will have all that ready by our next meeting, so that together we can move forward on that agenda. Okay, so with that said, thank you all for coming and for making it today. I'm very happy that we're able to mobilize such a strong force in our first meeting, and subsequently we will have even a much bigger group and organize very interesting program that will let us all enjoy the genetics and science of mostly West Africa or across the world. All right then. So bye for now.
Bye, sir.
Yes. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah.